Final Rush is the final stage in Hero Story, so it's going to be a difficult one. You want to start off by doing a trick jump and landing on solid ground. It won't give you any points if you land on a rail. Also, OBS does not like space. Fun fact, it will stutter a lot until I figure out how to get it moving again. And then we want to jump dash. Well, we just want to go where the rails take us, really. Staying on the rails will help us move as fast as possible. And staying on the spring wheel will reduce the chance of death significantly. Because sometimes it doesn't work. Okay, don't look at this. Here, we'll want to do the bomb. And we want to keep going. There's a couple skips in the stage we'll use later for speed purposes. You want to bounce on this one and jump, but since we don't land on solid ground, we don't get any points. Unfortunate. This is a fairly simple stage to aim, though. Otherwise, you can light speed dash here to go up those rails easily. Space is not as good a start for OBS, I guess. Keep stuttering. Regardless, want a homing attack these to go up some, and we want to use the middle path as fast as one. Left path gives you a shield bubble, and the right path puts you on a lower one. And a jump, probably try and jump off that, will send you up. You can skip a small section there. And you take the springs up to here. It can be mostly vertical, but it's mostly on rails, literally. There's not much you can do for the speed. And trick points seemingly give it out at random. I guess it just depends. You can do a spin dash jump if you want, or you can destroy those guys, both of which work. There are a lot of different paths in the stage, but most of them require grinding on rails to get, and or doing fancy jump tricks. This ends up being quite a slow level because of that, because it's quite a long level in the first place, especially if you are just doing it. There would have been another 1,000 points, but I landed on rail. If you ever do a trick jump, try to land on solid ground. This purple one will allow you to avoid a missile, which is unnecessary. It leads to an extra life if you need it, but other than that, it's not very worthwhile. It leads to a slower path as well. And a much more dangerous path if you choose to attempt it. Here you can avoid the wall there and the spring, which will sometimes give you enough speed. Here you can also spin dash jump to get on the same rail that same rail saves a little time. And also you will sometimes get stuck. That was close. You'll sometimes get stuck on the little corners of the rail. You can go down any of these ones. It'll just lead you to a little chase scene with some molten metal or debris. I don't know what this is. Just have to run into the goal. Make sure you jump, otherwise you might not actually hit the goal ring.
Yes! That was cool!
You'd think that with all the item boxes around, or ring bubbles, or whatever you want to call them, you'd think that it'd be easier to get 100 rings quickly, but it's not. You want to line up your spin dash here, and you want to get at least 20 rings before the first checkpoint. Here you can use a bounce to get for speed, get some extra rings off there, And there's a 20 ring bubble here. Now, if you want to be risky, you can jump on the other rails to get extra ring bubbles. Probably possibly be done by the time you even get to the bottom of the section, but I'm playing it safe here. And just getting that are on the main path. I'm not going to jump off any rails, I say as I do a very risky stunt. There's a 5 ring right there that you can get, and you'll be able to get another couple 5 rings on the way down. 5 and a 10, I guess. Apparently. There's a 20 down here that'll lead you off.
Yes! That was cool!
The last chow is near the end of the stage, similar to Crazy Gadget. So we just want to make our way to the end as quickly as we can. Points don't really matter. We want to stay on the rails as much as possible. And you saw me trick jump from one rail to another, so it's pretty cool. And we want to go directly onto, well, that's a good backup strat if you mistime your bounce. A bounce will give you a speed boost off the bat for lower slope rails. And we can actually go, instead of just, well, we can murk those guys for safety, but we can also land off the, landing on that's better than that, and still faster than just running down here normally. So, what? Normally you trick jump much farther than that. Still a little bit of time lost, but it's fine. It's fine. You can do it much faster. It's just a guide for something that you could do. A way you can do it. That I find really successful. So, you want to take as many shortcuts as you can. And I missed. Regardless, you want to take as many shortcuts as you can. That means homing, attacking rails whenever possible for a speed boost. And we want to try to shave off little bits of time save. And that includes spin dashing over both the spin dashing and jumping over both the artificial chaos there. So just after this section where the boss tower is. Once we get to the bottom, so here it is. So we want to jump off instead, and we want to land on the purple rail instead of the red rail. And we're going to want to use Mystic Melody on this ancient ruin. That'll lead us to some platforms, leading us to another purple rail, which we can homing attack to go up. It's fairly precise, so just be careful. And you can phase through the railing here, so be careful not to. And this will be a light speed dash, and we're going to want to jump on these rails. And when jumping, do not hold any direction on your left stick, otherwise you may do a side step or side rail swap thing. Yeah. Also, this rail's bugged. You're supposed to be able to go up it, but you can't. So there's this little thing you can do. It's where you jump and bounce directly after a spin dash into a wall, and you can go higher than normal.
That was cool!
Reaching the goal within 5 minutes is pretty similar to that first A rank. You'll want to land on the ground whenever possible for tricks and just want to generally try to keep it quick. You should be able to normally beat the stage and refine things pretty easily, so it's not that big of an issue. Get some extra rings. Missed the rail. Good recovery there, though. And we want to take that little shortcut rail face down. Normally we can, well, that works. Yeah, we want to just do what we can. Save time. That's how it's supposed to work. Try to lightspeed dash, fail, as it is. Sometimes it doesn't want to. Since we're looking for a balance between points and speed, some enemies are very easily either ignored or taken advantage of. We can do our jump off this. It actually works this time, wow. Anyway, do your jump off that and onto the rails. Just make sure you take it as fast as you can, despite it being a very slow section. Falling off here usually means, especially if you miss a homing attack, usually means there's no chance of recovery. Just make sure that you hit your misstep, hit your life. Especially since it doesn't automatically homing attack onto the railing for you. Here I bounce onto things for an extra speed boost. Make sure to land on the... Oh, I just bounced through the railing. I don't want that to happen again, so I use homing attack instead. And for your point bonus, and I'll take the red and the orange rail this time. That way you can whistle for that extra life. I never realized how easy extra lives really get in this game, honestly. But anyway, so you take your little speed rail there, land on the spring. For it being a little automated, that's very much a hard jump to get. Regardless, you can still jump onto it from here. This is the faster rail anyways. Jump directly to the bomb. And apparently not to the item box right over there. And that's it. That's the stage. We've got another little chase sequence, similar to the truck sequence in City Escape, which brings everything full circle, story-wise. You start off being chased by the military, and you end off being chased by remnants of Eggman Space. Pretty neat.
Yes! That was cool!
Hard mode. Hard mode. Enemies are more aggressive and they're often upgraded too. So, the Ancient Chaos on the left is much more aggressive, so that path just straight up isn't take anymore. There's this little guy who constantly shoots lasers. He's pretty easy to take care of. There's also an Artificial Chaos just right on the rails here. You can take care of him and bounce back on the rail to keep your speed, or some of it. This ring bubble isn't changed, so grab it for some extra points. And we just want to make our way down as fast as we can. If we go fast enough, the Artificial Chaos are now on the rails. We'll have a chance to even attack us. Now we're going to want to attack these Artificial Chaos, simply because they're dangerous. And then we want to jump onto... use our homing path to jump onto this rail. It's the safest path, and it'll give us a 3,000 point still. And, you know, actually attack. It's annoying because sometimes it bugs, or it's just not physics. Physics sometimes just don't work in this game. You know, staging takes all matter. It happens. The mom's pin moves over here. There's only one of them to stage now. There's this annoying little dude. Gives me a headache just to listen to him. This has been changed to a 5-ring level, and instead of using speed pads to go up it, now you have to do a somersault or spin dash. I jumped way too early here, so go ahead and do it. There are significantly less platforms on the way up, so we just have to be really careful with our jumps. By careful, I mean careful and really creative in some cases. Taking the stage slow is probably your best chance of even beating it in the first place, let alone getting another. You can actually more than often not get all the points you need for an A-rank of hard mode before you can beat the stage of the enemies and how they've changed. Instead of doing that mess, I decided to do a little parkour instead. It's a lot easier than trying to do rail parkour again. This section is relatively unchanged, except for a few missing rails, or speed pads. So, make your way up, get the extra points, and we're going to want to triple rail just in case anything changes with the platform. I don't think anything has, just in case. I don't want to do any complicated parkour. There we go. And on this thing here, this section is completely unchanged. Still go through that rail. Jeez. I'm not sure what happened to that left section because I just ignore it every time. There's no bomb over here anymore, but those guys tend to destroy themselves. Every single time I've played the stage, they've destroyed themselves. And here, you're going to want to destroy both of them because they're annoying. But also, there's a switch to that you activate the weight under the guy on the right. And once again, we just run away from the bits of machinery and metal, and we'll have beaten the stage.
Yes! That was cool!